Welcome to CITAM Church Online. This is Pastor Karita Mbagara, the senior pastor at CITAM Karen. Today, we want to talk about Christmas. And we want to start, by narrating a story that I read in the internet of this preacher who went visiting in Japan over Christmas season. He met a woman that was coming from shopping and stopped her and asked her, "Do you know what is the meaning of Christmas?" The lady answered and said, "No, I don't know." And then after some time she said, "Was it the time that Jesus died?" It just shows us that for many of us, we talk of Christmas as just a holiday, as a time to eat, to drink, to buy goods, to buy gifts, to exchange things, but we really do not understand the significance of Christmas. This is not new, because when we read in the Bible how Jesus came into our world, there were similar things that were happening. The account of Matthew gives us that there were three ways or attitudes that people responded towards Christmas. At his birth, according to Matthew chapter 2, verse 1 to 12, we find that the people were more focused on their economic hardships because they were under the government of Rome and they were colonized. They were not too bothered about a virgin who has conceived and is giving birth to a child. Many were detached from what was happening. In fact, I identify three things that we can say about Christmas that were true then and still remains true. When the Magi, or the wise men from the east, came, they went to Herod's house and they inquired. And the Bible, according to Matthew, tells us that Herod and all Jerusalem was concerned for the fact that there was another king that had been born. It says in verse 3 of Matthew chapter 2, verse 3, "When King Herod heard this, he was disturbed, and all Jerusalem with him." In other words, they were defiant. And we know that Herod even made a plan of how he was going to kill this new child that has been born, that is going to become a king. He was threatened. There are many, many people that when we think about Jesus and being the King of Kings, feel threatened. They would rather that Jesus was never a part of history and he is not relevant to our life. They act exactly like Herod would have done. They would have killed Jesus if that were possible. The second attitude that I find is that of apathy. We read about the chief priests that were consulted by Herod and asked, "Where is the King of the Jews to be born?" We are told that the chief priests and the teachers of the law, without almost much ado, they said that he's going to be born in Bethlehem, Judah. But they themselves, although they have read it in the scriptures, they know it, they did not bother to go to see this king that had been prophesied about many years before and that was going to be the savior of the people of Israel. They could not be moved. And I want to say it is even true today. There are people like the woman that I talked about who just celebrate Christmas, but it has no significance, it has no personal relevance or application in their lives. They are apathetic. Whether Jesus was born or not born, it doesn't matter. Whether he died, indeed, they would rather that he died and disappeared to oblivion. Jesus is of no significance. But I am glad to say that there is a third category of those that bow to God. When the same news were told to those that were wise men, but also that was told to the shepherds, the wise men made a long journey to go and see the King of Kings that had been born. And the shepherds, we are told that they rejoiced and they also came to see the King of Kings with gifts to bow before him and to worship him. And I want to say that also in this Christmas season, there are those that are like shepherds, that do everything that is within their power to go and worship the King. My question is, are you like Herod? Are you threatened by the fact that there is a Jesus who claims to be the Savior of the world? Or are you apathetic, you don't care whichever way it is? Or are you like the shepherds or the wise men? I choose to be like the wise men. The Bible teaches us that Jesus is the reason for this season. We are celebrating it because he stepped into our world. And I want you to know that as per the prophecy of Daniel chapter 2 verse 44, he is the stone that crushes all other kingdoms. He is coming back to establish an everlasting kingdom. Isaiah said, "Unto us a child is born, and the government shall be upon his shoulders." The government shall be upon his shoulders. And it says that his kingdom is everlasting. This Jesus, who was born once as a child to identify with us, is coming back again. And when he comes, he is not coming this time as a savior, but as the one that will establish a kingdom that will last forever. Consequently, we need to worship him so that we will be part of that everlasting kingdom that he is coming to establish. I urge you this Christmas to celebrate it different, because it is more than just what we know Christmas to be: eating, drinking, partying, and doing all the things that we do over Christmas. It's a time of remembering that we have a King who is coming soon to rule the world with justice and with truth. May the Lord bless you as you contemplate this. Let me hear what you think about what I have said. And please respond by writing using the social media platforms that are listed below. God bless you.